What's really good, my people? Welcome into No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Little, Big Nick the Quick. With me, as always, NFL Week 8 is in the books. We're going to talk about what we liked, what we did not like. We'll then get into the trade deadline. Roquan, our guy from Chicago, gets moved to Baltimore for a 2 and a 5. Is that the right move? Is it worth it? When is the rebuild? We'll get into it. I'm not even gonna jump off, go crazy on the intro. Then we're gonna go into the NBA. Couple of the superpowers, the big dogs. I'm talking the Heat. I'm talking the Golden State Warriors. I'm talking the Brooklyn Nets are struggling. We're gonna talk about those squads if they can get it turned around. Who we're most confident that can get it turned around. We'll go into that. We'll talk the details there. And then we'll go into Kawhi, Tyrese Maxey's going crazy. Couple things on the docket for the NBA. Stay locked with us. No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. Let's get into it.
Now look at Maxey. Really? Oh, so that's how you're going to play it. You going to do this? Okay, fine. That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that. And it became personal with me.
Big Nick the Quick, what's good?
How we doing? Hey, man, we got to start off. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to say it.
Rest in peace, Takeoff, man. We can't get it going without saying rest in peace, Takeoff, man.
Yeah.
It's some wild shit to wake up to this morning.
Yeah, Takeoff will be coming through the speakers all day today. Absolutely tragic. Gun violence it is what it is, man. It's been rampant for a while now. Continues to be a major issue, man. So, yeah, rest in peace, Takeoff. Third of the Migos, or I asked the Migos went down to 2, but that's Quavo's guy. Thoughts for my guy Quavo too. He's going to be going through it pretty bad for probably the rest of his life. So
for sure, shout out
that's
his
very
kids,
tough.
His family, mother, everybody,
everything.
man. It's crazy. Make sure you tell your people you love them.
100%. So, first of all, you need to go get an espresso ASAP, G.
Nespresso,
dog. This cup of coffee I've been making every day. Whew, it's the best. It's like it's better than going up the street and paying $7. I'm not even kidding.
So I'm not trying to flex, but we had the Nespresso for like the last 5-6 years. And then last year for Christmas, I decided to upgrade my girl with the full on espresso machine. So I went and got one of those Breville joints where you got the thing where you turn. Background, she used to work.
Too much work, dog.
It's not really, bro. It makes the best coffee. It makes the best. Listen, hold on. It makes the best coffee in the world. Number one. Number two, she used to work at Starbucks back in the day, so she knows how to do them. So it's funny you say that, but yeah, no. Get the Breville. Get the Breville Barista Express and don't look back.
Jay, what up, baby? I owe you a text, man. I've been super busy, bro. I apologize. I got to hit my guy Jay back. What's up, man?
Our guy Jay
Appreciate
Holloway,
you tuning in, my boy.
Yeah.
All right,
Jay, you still on Twitter, man? We haven't seen Jay on Twitter in a minute, man.
Sports and shoes, man.
Yeah, I haven't seen Sports and shoes on Twitter in a minute, man. If you know Twitter, let me know, man.
All right, man. Let's get into it.
Speaking of Twitter, wait, did you see that I followed you yesterday? Randomly, dog. I don't know what happened. So you liked my shit. I clicked on your page and it's like follow back. I'm like, wait, what? So I don't know, man. Obviously, I was following you before. I was following you before, and somehow I became unfollowed, man. So I don't know what happened.
I figured it was just like a tweak.
I have no idea.
Some type of tweak in the algorithm.
I had to double check and make sure it wasn't like an imposter Sean Little on there. I'm like, who is this Sean Little account? Because I swear I was following.
Yeah. It's all good. All right, let's get into it, man. NFL Week 8's in the books. Things are starting to shape out. I don't know if I've ever. The league seems very solidified to me. That's two teams in the league are the Buffalo Bills and the Eagles. The second best team in the AFC is the Chiefs. The second best team in the NFC is, I guess that's up for debate. We could talk about Dallas. We could talk about Minnesota.
For me, that's where it's not solidified. So I think it's funny that you say that. Like, obviously, Buffalo is the best team in the NFL right now, hands down. And I was actually going through stats today. I didn't realize, first off, shout out our guy, Les Frazier. Look, we know Josh Allen, the whole program there, Stephon Diggs, they do their thing, even though they had a rough game on Sunday. But you look at that defense, their defense has allowed 98 points this year by far the lowest in the league, right? So even in a game like Sunday where they're struggling a little bit, especially in the second half, their defense has been incredible. Like, so when you add that type of defense with that offense, like, yeah, hands down, Buffalo's the best team in the NFL. But I think after that, it gets murky. Like, especially in the NFC. Especially in the NFC. Like, I get it, man. Like, go ahead.
I guess more of what I was saying is that I was thinking, because I didn't really dig deep into the rest. I'm talking about, I don't know if this early in the season, it's been solidified that the number one seeds for the playoffs are basically locked in. Buffalo beat Kansas City in Kansas City. They're going to have that tiebreaker. They're going to win 14 games, like I've been saying since the beginning of the year. And the Eagles over-under win totals literally on DraftKings right now, 14.5.
That's crazy.
So they're going to win the NFC and be or I don't know if they're going to win the NFC. They're going to be the number one seed in the NFC and rep that side of the conference at the top, have home field advantage, the whole thing. This early in the year, I don't know if I've ever said that about two teams that are clear, far and away the best teams in their conference. That's more of what I was getting at. But, hey, you're right. It gets a little murky on this side of the NFC card. Three of the four teams in the NFC are from the NFC East, which is crazy.
Yeah. Wild. Well, also, though, and like I almost push back on that a little bit because no one would have seen Cincinnati. I'm just saying as far as like knowing who's going to show up where. No one would have had Cincinnati going on that run that they went on towards the end of the year last year. Yeah. So I feel like there's still a lot of football to be played. I hear you on the Eagles and Bills thing. It doesn't seem like anything's going to knock those two off.
Those are the two number one seeds, bro.
And then, when you get into the NFC, it's funny you say that because it's like, it's almost like it doesn't matter how many games the Vikings win. Is anybody actually believe in the Minnesota
Nobody
Vikings?
Cares.
I've never seen a 6-1 team get less love. And they won again on Sunday. Like, I was thinking this on Saturday. I'm like, man, they're 5-1 and they get no love. They win again on Sunday. I watched Get Up and First Take for 4 hours yesterday. Not a segment. No purple. No purple.
Not a mention.
Not a mention at all. So
6-1, and the only loss is against, guess who? The Eagles.
The Eagles, yeah.
So it's not like they got a stinker in there and lost to a really bad NFC team. They lost to the best team in the conference. They're 6-1.
They're gonna win their division. They're in an easy division, trash division at this point. Yeah, like they're gonna walk into the playoffs. And
no one said a word about them.
Said a peep about this team.
I brought this up yesterday. We were talking Halloween themes and who's spooky, who's not, what's scary. And I brought up the Vikings. My first thing I brought up was the Niners and how adding the addition of Christian McCaffrey can get can make them spooky because we know how Kyle Shanahan gets down on offense with him, Debo, all those weapons. He utilizes his weapons very, very well. So that's
my
spooky.
man's throwing touchdowns on Sunday.
Yes, that's spooky to have McCaffrey down there in San Francisco right now. But then Minnesota's kind of spooky. Listen, they're 6-1. They're now winning close games. That was the big knock on them, right? They would get in close games. They would lose all the time. Now they're winning close games. They're a good team at home. And they've been doing this without Justin Jefferson going crazy.
Yeah.
Let me double check really quick if he scored this week. But he hasn't scored.
Started off the season crazy, and then he's been real quiet since.
He hasn't scored going into Sunday. He hadn't scored in like 4 games or something like that. So they have been playing really well. Kirk is doing his thing.
They're putting a lot less on Kirk. That's you can say in years past they put way too much on Kirk, and we know what happens if you put too much on Kirk. So yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's just very steady Eddie, man. Keep him out of prime time.
Yep.
No touchdowns again for Justin Jefferson. He only, let's see, I think he has 2 on the year.
Yep.
Something like that. So
going through Dalvin Cook, he's been healthy.
Dalvin Cook's been cooking. Yeah, he has 2
playing better.
Yep, Justin Jefferson has two TDs on the year. He had 10 last year. So they're even doing it without him getting in the end zone. Say what you want, man.
And that was a team with bad coaching the last few years. I've been saying Mike Zimmer was a brutal head coach. He was one of those guys that was 100% on my list of why does this man still have a job. So you gotta give a shout out to O'Connell as well. Now, obviously, and I think this is kind of tying to my McCaffrey point, but obviously it's a down year for several teams in the NFC, right? So when I first saw that McCaffrey trade, I think we talked about it. I was like, no way. You gave up way too much for a running back, especially a guy who has a they still did, for sure. Especially a guy who's never healthy, right? Had a ton of different health issues.
Especially when you got a guy like PJ Walker at the helm, they might win the Super Bowl next year.
Shout out PJ.
Shout out the Panthers.
Yeah, shout out PJ Walker. shout out Steve Wilkes.
Shout out PJ and the Panthers.
Black coach, black quarterback combination.
They said PJ.
Special.
Did you see that next gen stat that said PJ had the longest throw air yards they've seen in the NFL in like the last 10 years? It went on that last throw to DJ Moore. It was like 70 air yards or something. It was the longest throw.
No, shout out PJ though, man. He's nice.
Shout out PJ, man.
Hey, the Panthers have always been a friend of the black quarterback, man. So shout out Carolina Panthers over there.
Man.
But so yeah, I mean, obviously when that trade happened, man, you and I are both on the same page with running backs. You're a little bit harder on it, but like you don't want to give up a lot. You don't want to extend them, like whatever, right? You don't want to waste a lot of resources on running back. With that being said, for San Fran, in a year when the Packers are down, the Rams are down, the Bucks are down, right? These are three of the teams that have been three of the best teams in the NFC over the last 4 or 5 years. The Packers, Rams, or 3 years, Packers, Rams, Bucks, right? Those three teams are down. If you're San Fran, man, I got no problem with going for it. Like, fuck it. Like, hey, look, we think we have an opportunity this year. We know we can win games with Jimmy G. We know we can get into deep playoff runs with the team that we have right now. We know we have a defense. We trust our play calling. And there's a guy out there that we believe can take us to the next level. And like you said, fits into exactly what we want to do as far as some of the different gimmicky thing and the great play calling. And that game Sunday, there was no Deebo Samuel. Imagine when Deebo Samuel and McCaffrey are both out there, and you got two weapons like that, and an NFC, again, that's down without some of these powerhouse quarterbacks that you're going to have to worry about come wintertime in the playoffs. Fuck it, go for it. Again, you gave up too much, but when we talk about these windows and whatever they got going on, who knows what happens going forward with this team? The Jimmy G situation's up in the air. Trey Lance is hurt. You got to go for it this year. So I got no problem with that. So yeah, man, I just think with the NFC being down, and the Vikings are obviously taking advantage of that as well, man. The Green Bay is, we thought every year Green Bay is going to win this division. They're going to run away with it. It's easy. I think that's another thing that's kind of masked some of the deficiencies.
That was really naive of us, by the way.
Yeah.
The Vikings was the clear bet to win the division. I think it was plus 150 or something too.
This is the stat that I saw before we hopped on. I was like, I'll say it to you. Do you know the Bears have scored 10 more points this year than the Green Bay Packers?
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That
Packers have scored 105 points in 8 games.
That Packers offense is absolutely brutal.
Trash.
Man. Yeah.
Trash.
It's terrible. It's really, really bad. For how the Bears started, for you to say that though is crazy. I didn't realize they had scored 10 more points. But
we scored 10 more points than them. We scored 10 more points than the fucking Buccaneers. It's crazy, man. So like, yeah, that just kind of solidifies the point of if you're one of these NFC teams, yeah, fuck it, go for it.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Is
no Brady, no Rodgers, no Stafford.
Who would you take, the Niners or the Eagles right now to get the number, or the Niners or the Vikings to be that number 2 in the NFC? Or are you taking somebody else? Are you taking Dallas?
Yeah, I think because the Niners are already 4-4, you're talking about a 3-game gap between those two teams. It's more likely that the Vikings would get it, but I also know Kirk. I don't believe, you know me, I don't believe in Kirk Cousins. So the Vikings and me are always shaky. I don't talk about the Vikings as 6-1, right? Because to me, Kirk Cousins is one of those guys where you're just kind of always, you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, you know what's going to happen. He's shaky. He has a career of being shaky. This is not a young man. He's been in the league for a long time. he has a history of shakiness. So, like, for that, I don't trust it. So, if you want to tell me, my favorite 2 teams in the NFC would be the Niners and the Eagles. I think this Niners thing is dangerous because, again, there was no Deebo there on Sunday. He was on the stadium, iced out like crazy. Yeah. Shout out Deebo spending some of that check.
Shout out Deebo.
If you just think about the different ways they can use those 2 guys, like Deebo Samuel and McCaffrey on the field at the same time.
Listen,
it's crazy.
I could talk to you.
And Kittle back.
I could talk to you for the next 10 minutes about the Vikings being 6-1. If they played the San Francisco 49ers on a neutral field, I'm giving up 4 points and I'm taking the Niners.
Easy. What? Easy.
Yo,
what? If they played them in fucking St. Paul,
Yo,
I'll lay the 4.
Look,
Take the Niners.
The Vikings 6-1, man. Only one loss.
Play them at Target Field.
Only losses to the Eagles, man. They ain't getting no respect. All right, who you got? Niners, Vikings. Yeah, give me the Niners, and then I'll give you 3.5. Don't trip.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think at the top of that NFC, it's clear far and away the Eagles. Then it's everybody else, and then you could start slotting the Niners, Cowboys, and Vikings. But I think it's those 3 teams. I almost want to say it's okay. I'll give you my NFC power rankings right now. Number 1 is the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 2 is where do you slot the Seahawks, right? Number 2.
Look, Geno is an MVP candidate.
Number
Orlovsky
2 for
said
me.
it yesterday. Geno is an MVP candidate. I like Seattle, and they got that home field advantage.
Yeah,
no one likes going over to play there. No one wants to go play there.
Let me give you my NFC power rankings right now. I'll give you Philadelphia Eagles at 1, San Francisco 49ers at 2. At number 3, give me the Minnesota Vikings. At 4, give me the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
5, give me the Seattle Seahawks. Done.
I like that. Yeah.
Those are the 5 best teams in the NFC right now for me. That order.
The Giants get no love for the hometown Giants.
Fraudulent.
Okay.
I faded them 3 straight weeks. They finally cashed in this past week. They're not a top 5 team.
That was a bad matchup for them. Again, nobody wants to go there.
Yeah, I mean,
Daniel Jones going to the 12 was never going to work out well.
I mean, they've had bad matchups the last few weeks, and they've somehow figured out a way to wiggle out of it. So yeah, but yeah, they're not a. Where would they fall? They'd probably fall
7.
They're down there by like Atlanta to me. They're like that's
how similar.
Atlanta. I don't know if they are, bro.
Division.
I don't know if they're better than Atlanta. Barely, if they are.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I gotta give Atlanta some respect too. Mariota and who's guy FedEx guy is doing his thing. So
I'm gonna tell you this. I would take a look if you're looking for a little future to sweat the rest of the year. I would take a look at the New Orleans Saints to win the NFC South. That's how I feel about the whole thing. Tampa Bay is really, really bad on offense.
Is Jameis back? I didn't even watch that.
No, Andy Dalton is playing, right? And it looks like Jameis is available and Andy Dalton's playing. So that's
Allen is okay.
Yeah, say what you want about that. So
yeah,
if they can get the defense in order, it looks like they got on track this week. They blanked Las Vegas.
But I was just gonna say the Raiders are a fucking disaster though. Yeah, Josh McDaniels is the worst head coach ever.
Yeah, Josh McDaniels has. Yeah.
Also, it's Tuesday and Cliff Kingsbury still has his job. I don't know.
Yo, by the way, there's so many McDaniels and McDaniel, and you start to mesh them together. Like Mike,
what's his name?
The dude in Miami is Mike McDaniels with an S.
Yeah,
and then
Mike McDaniel.
It's with an S. I'm pretty sure Mike McDaniels, and then
the black dude.
No. Yes. Well, yeah, I almost disrespected him. Yeah, the black guy in Miami.
We can claim him. We can claim him. We can claim our. Hey, we can claim. Hey, listen, bro. We told you what they got going on in Miami, bro. They got the black GM, the black head coach,
dude. Yeah,
the brown
Mike McDaniel's the black guy. My fault.
Cheetah.
My fault. Yeah. My bad.
Best player in the NFL right now.
My fault. And then
don't disrespect Mike McDaniel like
that. There's Josh McDaniel.
It's Mike McDaniel. So I'm looking up. It's Mike McDaniel and it's Josh McDaniels.
It's Mike McDaniel in Miami.
No, plural. Yeah, not plural. And then Josh McDaniels.
I've been doing it flip. See,
yeah, you've been flipping confused. It, man. Yeah.
Okay, Josh McDaniels, Mike McDaniel.
The brother is singular.
Brother
White
singular.
Plural. Yeah.
Shout out Mike McDaniel. He's been doing his thing. I love what he's doing in Miami. They've been cooking.
Other than when he almost killed Tua Tagovailoa.
Tua Tagovailoa. Yeah,
for sure. Another name.
Yeah. Okay. Let's really quick. Let's talk about the AFC and then let's get into this trade deadline.
Yeah.
AFC is clear far and away the Buffalo Bills right now.
Close.
Tennessee Titans are 5-2, which is disgusting.
Well, hey, and great job by Vrabel starting a rookie quarterback, had Malik Willis starting on Sunday, and literally just fed Derrick Henry for 4 quarters, and they couldn't do anything about it. Not a thing.
That was a perfect spot to start Malik and then just feed Derrick The Texans, one of the worst rush defenses in the league. They were like bottom 20, like
it's tough for
bottom
Lovey
5 in
right now,
DVOA against on rush defense. They're really, really bad on rush defense. So yeah, that was a dream
I think Willis
matchup.
threw it 8 times.
It was a dream matchup for someone. Those are those spots when you're looking to bet props and you're looking to make bets on the
Derrick
NFL.
Henry rush yards.
Well, you look at the whole situation in its entirety. We have Malik Willis, who is a rookie in his first start at quarterback. Derrick Henry, we know how he gets down, grinds people out.
32 carries.
And then the Texans are one of the worst rush defenses in the league.
Yeah.
So that's when you want to look at taking Derrick Henry over props. And I think it was at like 90.
The backup rushed for 83 yards.
Yeah. So
Henry had 219. Dontrell Hilliard had 83 yards. So yeah, I mean, they were just gashing.
They were just killing them. Yeah.
I love that.
It might be time to look at the Texans for the worst record in the league at -115. I was looking at that yesterday as well. So
who's in the running?
Shout out Lovey Smith.
Texans, the Raiders.
Texans, Raiders, Detroit.
I can't believe Detroit's 1-6. I'm sick.
Yeah,
I love that guy, man.
They just lose games, man.
Well, they get up in games, and then it's Jared Goff. Jared Goff was good for 20 minutes, and I don't know how Aaron Glenn has a job. Hey, it was great on Hard Knocks.
That defense is terrible, dog.
Atrocious.
Yeah, that defense is terrible.
Yeah, they give up 30 to everybody.
Shout out Jabari. He said, "Yeah, we could." He said, "Quick got it right. We could claim my man down in Miami." So
yeah. We got him. He's one of us. He's with us.
Hey, if they start losing, we'll come back to the table and reconfirm. But
Mike McDaniel with us. We claim Tua too.
So, all right, let me give you my AFC power rankings. Buffalo's 1, Kansas City's 2.
Yep.
Then it starts to get kind of spooky because who's 3? Baltimore, I guess. But
I mean, do you believe in any teams outside of Buffalo and Kansas City in the AFC?
No.
Like Baltimore has
0.
massive holes. We saw the Bengals last night. They can't protect their quarterback. But remember, third down sacks don't matter.
Literally 0.
I wish we had that Burrow clip. Third down sacks, who cares about those? All right. Oh,
dude, the AFC has 14 teams that have 3 or more L's.
Well, what about Miami? So Tua was out for a few weeks, right? So with Tua back, is Miami a much better
13.
team?
Yeah, I mean they're top 5 for me. So okay, let me.
Defense isn't great.
I'll give you my full. I'll give you Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs. Then I'll go Baltimore Ravens. I'll go Miami Dolphins, and then I will go. Man, it's ugly. Like Cincinnati just got destroyed last night.
Yeah, terrible.
Right. So
is it Tennessee?
The Jets. It's Tennessee. I'm tripping. It's Tennessee. Yeah. It's got to be Tennessee. Yeah, it's Tennessee. That was petty, but yeah, I'll put the Jets right behind Tennessee.
The AFC is where it's ugly. There's 2 teams in the AFC. It's a 2-horse race, and if we want to be real, it's a 1-horse race. I think Buffalo is fucking cruising to the Super Bowl. Where's the Super Bowl this year?
Shit, Orchard Park.
Orchard Park. Where's that?
That's in Buffalo. No. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. Yeah, I don't know where
we in Buffalo.
I think it's in Miami.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe I made that up. No, it's in Glendale. It's in Glendale. It's in Glendale.
Okay, yeah.
It's in Glendale.
Going west.
Yeah,
boys already going west.
I was saying that before the year. I
didn't think their defense was going to be this good.
Their main thing coming into the year was they were going to try to get home field advantage. And if they got home field advantage,
you don't want to play there in December.
They were just going to that's mission number 1. We need to get Mahomes and those guys to come to our building in January.
A pass rusher, so we got Von Miller.
Yep,
we got Von Miller.
And then that's it. So yeah, they're super loaded. I think it's also time to look at, if you don't already have a Josh Allen ticket, to look at him for MVP plus 125. Last I looked.
What was it at the beginning of the year?
I think 350, something like that. 350, 400 maybe.
That was free.
I've got burned on a couple years in a row.
Are you off the MVP props? Man, Russ got you a couple. Mr. Unlimited got you a few times.
I know. And last year I was on the right side. I don't know how that even happened. I had Brady. I ended up having to hedge out.
Didn't you hedge Rodgers.
Out? Yeah, I hedged out.
Raiders was the MVP through week 18. And then Rodgers took it at the end. So yeah. So you got no faith in Cleveland when Deshaun comes back? Or do you think
I haven't seen Deshaun play. I haven't seen Deshaun play football in 2 years, and I'm gonna tell you this, man. Jacoby Brissett is solid.
No, he's not.
He's
solid, but he makes a lot of fucking mistakes.
No, Jacoby Brissett is
the
solid.
pick he threw when he was getting sacked was egregious.
The quarterback play that I've seen this year,
And you know what? I love
I'm
Jacoby.
allowed to say that Jacoby Brissett is solid because the quarterback play that I'm seeing across the league from Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, Lawrence. I'm looking at the list right now.
Hey, wait.
Dude, it's brutal. Mac Jones, like all these guys are bad.
Can we have an honest conversation about Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, he's not good.
Does he suck?
Yeah, he sucks right now.
We know Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson sucks, right? We've already.
We told y'all Zach Wilson was
whack. The book
is
closed on Zach Wilson.
Man, we told y'all.
Trevor Lawrence suck. Like, he's not good. I thought Trevor Lawrence was going to walk in the league and change everything.
Yeah, especially with Doug Peterson too. Like, that's a good situation to be in for him, and he hasn't capitalized. He hasn't been looking very good. So, I mean, we know about the quarterback play. I mean, the quarterback play in Detroit has actually been solid. If you go look at Goff's numbers, it's been solid. So, but yeah, I think Jacoby Brissett is solid. Is Taylor Heineke solid?
I love Taylor Heineke.
Then Jacoby's solid.
Hey,
then
you see Taylor Heineke win that game on Sunday?
Yeah,
what?
He's not playing around.
And his teammates love him, bro.
Too,
teammates love him. You saw after he scored that touchdown, Trace Young was coming off the sidelines to him. I like Heineke. Listen, man, to your point, as far as like you're allowed to say that someone's solid. We are allowed to say after 2 years of watching this guy, 2+ years of watching,
he's solid.
He's solid. He will be in the league for a while as a backup. He's going to be one of those guys that'll be starting every now and then. If Geno Smith can make like a year 8 resurgence, you can't count out Taylor Heineke. And Geno Smith is the MVP candidate. Let's give him his flowers. Again, my only knock on Geno is we didn't pay my mans for that flight. Other than that,
I forgot about that.
Geno needs to pay his debt. You know what I mean? And Buddy handled that. But Geno needs to pay
I forgot about that.
You know what's funny about that situation? No one came out and supported Geno either. Like, even the head coach was like, yeah, Geno.
What was it? He didn't. Dude was like a rookie, right?
Yeah, and Geno was supposed to come out to the guy's camp. Geno didn't come out to the camp, but the dude had paid for the flight, and the dude was like, "Yo, just hit me back with the $300 for the flight." And Geno was like, "Nah." And then he saw him in training camp, and he asked him about it. And Geno was like, "Fuck you, I'm not paying." And dude stole off.
Yeah.
And no one had Geno's back. You know what reminded me of?
About that. That's true.
It was like the Mirotic situation when no one had Mirotic's back. You know what I mean? There's certain situations when you get hit and no one has your back, it was deeper than that. Like, everybody had Jordan Poole's back, right? They're like, yo, Draymond was wrong, but no one was calling out that rookie who hit Geno, or no one was calling out Bobby Portis. So you know that shit was deep. Pay your debts, Geno. But other than that, man, hey, look, man. What do you say? They wrote him off, but he ain't right back.
They wrote me off, but I ain't right back.
I ain't right back.
Did we know if Geno paid him back?
No, I don't think he ever paid him back.
Somebody get to the bottom of that, man.
I think Dude got cut after he stole off a starting quarterback in training camp. I don't think. But Geno needs to give my man his $300 back. Hey, send him a Venmo request.
Somebody give my man his money back for the flight, man.
Geno was petty for that.
Yeah, that was petty. That was petty for Geno. All right, let's talk about the trade deadline. Because we had a big move. Roquan Smith, the Chicago Bears, goes to Baltimore for a 2 and a 5. I feel very strongly about this. And I've been reading about, I've been reading all the articles, I've been reading all the tweets, I've been reading all the reporters talk about the move. I don't love it, but I'll let you go first, Big Nick the Quick. What do you think about the move? The Bears get a 2 and a 5 for moving their best player on defense.
Yeah. So obviously, my initial reaction on this deal is I was upset, right? You see 2 and a 5, you see Roquan out. When you look at the Bears team and there's not a ton of talent, we're not, when we ship out our most talented player on defense. And actually, a player, like, when you look at the history of the last few years, we haven't hit on too many draft picks, right? Like, Roquan was one of the few draft picks, high draft picks that we were able to get right. So obviously, I was upset about that. I talked to my pops. He was disgusted with the deal. I had to get off the phone. Couldn't even talk to me anymore about it. But man, the more I started to look at it, listen, man, we know this team. If you go through it position by position on the Chicago Bears roster, we have holes at starters. We have holes in the backup. We have holes in our third string guys. I counted on offense. I think we want to replace potentially 7 to 8 starters on offense, several on defense. We need to get an entirely new receiving core outside of Darnell Mooney. That costs money, right? So if they look at Roquan Smith and they say that linebacker, that inside linebacker position is not a $20 million a year position for us, knowing that we have a lot of other holes to fill, and that's their evaluation. And again, Poles doesn't make this deal without Eberflus saying, yes, you can move on from this guy, right? And Eberflus is in charge of our defense. So if he's looking at Roquan, he's saying, hey, he's not Darius Leonard. He's not one of these guys. And in our defense, we don't need to pay a player like this $20 million, especially when that $20 million could be used on 3 offensive linemen, 2 receivers, however you want to chop it up. Plus adding the 2 draft picks, knowing that part of the reason that we're in the situation that we're in right now is that over the last 3 to 4 years, we've mortgaged all of our draft picks to try and win now. I don't really have a problem with it, man. It opens up more cap space. It gets us 2 more players that are young players that we can get into the system. And this is their plan, man. We got to trust their plan. Again, if they looked at all the positions, at the beginning of the year and said, this is the most valuable positions, and they get to that inside linebacker and they say, no way we can pay this guy $20 million a year when we have to fill out, again, out of 22 starters, the Bears going to be replacing 16, 15 of them potentially. Yeah, man, you need as much money as you can get. So the 20, I don't look at it just the 20 million, or losing Roquan. I look at it gaining the $20 million in cap space that we can use to fill some of these other holes, especially if you look at the last 3 games and how Justin Fields has played. I know early on in the year, we talked a lot like, hey, maybe we're out on this guy. We don't know what it looks like. He's inaccurate. He's not that dude. Last 3 games, Justin Fields has been that guy, right? Justin Fields has been that guy. I think you are comfortable moving forward with this quarterback, understanding that if you put some better talent around him, it's going to look a lot better, especially after Sunday. I thought Sunday, as far as poise, the boxes that we want to check, most boxes I've checked for Justin Fields all year.
Against one of the best pass rushers in the world.
Absolutely, right? So, again, what did we say this year matters about? Checking boxes. Don't talk about the record. The Bears put up 29. It looked great. He was comfortable. The offense was clicking. Defensively, we were just trash. We couldn't do anything with Tony Pollard. But look, man, if that's where you're at in your evaluation, you feel comfortable with your quarterback, and now you're saying, hey, we want to start putting some pieces around him, but we can't pay $20 million to a non-premium position. Well, there you go. Especially when you have needs at the premium positions. At every premium position outside of quarterback, you have a need. You need a pass rusher. You need a left tackle. You need a playmaking wide receiver, right? You need another cornerback. Those are the 4 most important positions in football outside of the quarterback. And you need to fill gaps in all of those positions. So you need as much money as possible. I'm all in with it, man. Polls 2023.
I understand what you're saying. I get it. Stack up, and it all looks so pretty, right? Stack up a bunch of draft picks. Look, Chicago, 2, 4. They got 6 picks in the first 4 rounds. Roquan Smith is 25 years old. Now, let me preface this by saying this. If Poles and Roquan and his people had a conversation of, I'm not taking less than $20 million. Don't show up to the table without $20 million per. Then I understand. And I don't know the details on that. But part of your job as a GM is to make this shit work out with 25-year-old all-pros. Hey, Roquan, we can't get you 20, but we can get you 16 and a half, 17. We're going to build up an insane squad over here in Chicago. This is the plan. This is how we laid it out. We'll get you your money, but we can't get you $20 million per. That's part of your job as a GM. Giving up 25-year-old all-pros, where it's clear far and away the best, one of the best at positions, one of the best at his positions in the league. It doesn't sit right with me. I don't care about getting a 2, a 5. There's plenty of money to go around. And everyone that I've been reading and talking to, including yourself, people act like the linebacker position just doesn't matter. Like, so a good linebacker, you just go get anybody and fill him in. We got to spend money on wide receiver, a pass rusher. It's like, wait, bro. You still need good linebackers in the NFL. And he's clearly one of the best. So could you get a guy like Milano on Buffalo, who's one of the better interior linebackers in the league? He's making like $11 million. Sure, you can go find him. But I think you could still pay a guy like Roquan, who's 25 years old, 16, 17 million. And if you don't want to, then the franchise tag is tough because then it starts to get up to $20 million per for a linebacker, that is really expensive. I just don't like giving up all pros at 25 years old for a 2 and a 5. You better either smash the second round and the 5th round pick, or you package that up and trade it for a big-time offensive lineman, a big-time wide receiver that can come in and help Justin Fields. I just wish it doesn't. It seems like there's more to it to me. They don't like each other is kind of what it seems like to me.
He wrote a 3-page letter in the middle of fucking training camp. We were sitting
wrote
here on
the
the air when
3-page
it
letter,
dropped.
and then after that, it was kind of like, yeah, don't worry, we're not getting this guy a deal. It's like that's it, that's all. I don't know the details on that, so I'm just speaking from, I'm just guessing a little bit, but from my gut and my experience with these type of situations, just evaluating them over the years, seems like it's more than the on-field situation and the cap number and all that stuff.
Well, I think, look, man, you're saying, hey, look, unless they got to a point where they're in a room and he's saying, I want this and we're not going to give it to you. That's exactly what happened. That's what happened over the summer during the negotiations when he wrote that letter. And he requested a trade. Let's not forget that this man requested a trade. And that trade offer was never pulled off the table. I think they've been listening to offers on him since the day that he requested that trade. And they finally got to a point right now, realizing the offseason, we're not going to be able to sign a number for him that we're comfortable with, right? He wants this. He's made it clear that he wants this. He's in the midst of another really good season. So it's not like he's going to say, okay, I'll take a little bit less, right? The guy leads the league in tackles. He's making plays on our defense. So we know that we're not going to get to that number where we value him at, and we just don't want to overpay. We have too many holes to overpay. I think it was less about getting the picks. Obviously, you want to get the picks. You got to get something back for him. It was more about clearing that space, going into the offseason with no distractions, right?
How much money do you want to clear, though? Listen to this free, because we're talking about the Bears are going to have the Bears are going to have $130 million clear.
Absolutely.
In the cap. Listen to the wide receiver free agents next year. Nelson Aguilar, Sterling Shepard, DJ Shark, Randall Cobb, Marvin Jones, Julio Jones, Byron Pringle, Alan Lazard.
Yeah.
This is the bottom of the barrel of wide receivers in the NFL. So that's the free agent. Go ahead.
Well, but we just saw, okay, but here's the thing though, right? Those are the guys who are coming up as free agents, right? As we just saw this last offseason, the wide receiver market exploded and several guys were traded. A.J. Brown was not a free agent, right? Tyreek Hill was not a free agent. Those guys wanted new deals. And they saw the other deals going around and they demanded a trade, and trades were worked out for those guys because they wanted no deals. So it's not like the NBA where it's like, oh, these guys are available and this is who you're choosing from. There's going to be other wide receivers that are going to want to get out of wherever they are because they want a new deal somewhere else, and the Bears are going to be able to pop up and do that. Beyond that, it's not just the wide receivers, and it's not top of the market for the Bears. The Bears have so many holes. They have to sign so many guys, right? They have to sign so many guys. And even in that list of guys,
they still got to be out there, man.
Nelson Aguilar is better than any receiver we have on our roster right now, not named Darnell Mooney. Let's keep it real. And Aguilar is not good. But so if you start talking like that, it's like, yeah, they have several different things. What about the offensive linemen that are available, right? Because we need to get 3 of those at least. Outside of Tevin Jenkins and maybe Borum, who's starting on that offensive line going forward? Who? None of these guys, right? So you need to re-sign probably 4 offensive linemen. You need to go maybe look for another. You absolutely need to look for another tight end. You need to sign 4 wide receivers. You need to sign a playmaking pass rusher on defense.
Find a tight end though.
You need to sign another.
So we don't need any linebackers, right? Wait. Just so we're clear. Hold on.
You need one for $20 million.
Just so we're clear, we don't need any linebackers. We can just
absolutely need linebackers.
This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna fill out the entire roster and then throw $5 million linebackers in the core of the defense. Just so I'm clear, right? We're gonna go spend $7 million on. There's not a lot of Danny Trevathans running around. Like, he was a great fill. Here's the minimum type dude, and he was a solid linebacker.
4 years. But listen. So what would you rather do? Would you rather spend that money on inside linebacker or fill the rest of the holes, the gaping holes that are in this roster? You're watching this team every week. There are holes all over. We are playing at a deficit talent. How many guys are you carrying next year that you see play every day on Sunday?
Listen,
how many?
Has Roquan earned $16 or $17 million per year?
It's not about what he's earned. It's about what he's worth to the team.
Is he worth $16 or $17 million per year?
Not if you don't value that position as a $17 million a year position.
Okay. So what are 7? So I mean, Nick, there's
Let's
only
talk
3.
about it.
There's only 3 million. There's only 3 $17 million positions on the whole team.
If you're looking at this Bears team, what positions do you value the most that we need right now? Even without Roquan. Okay, wide receiver, offensive lineman. What else?
That's it.
Defensive backs, corners. We don't need a corner. Jalen Johnson's number one corner.
Yeah, he better be. He's not. Isn't that what he's supposed to be?
How about pass rushers? How about defensive linemen, edge rushers, outside linebackers?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, listen, we talk about this all the time. So, in the NFL, you need a left tackle, you need a quarterback, you need a pass rusher, you need a corner.
What are outside of quarterback? What are 2 of the most 3 expensive positions in the NFL? Left tackle and pass rusher. Those are the 3 most expensive positions in the NFL. So you can't spend $17 million on an inside linebacker.
Nick, we have $140 million in cap space.
Great.
And you're talking like we're gonna go fill out these positions with the best players in the NFL, and they're gonna command $25-30 million per.
What I'm saying is you not only need to sign starters, you need to sign backups. There is nothing on this team. The cupboard is barren.
No, 100%.
No draft. We haven't had draft picks the last 4 years, so you don't have a bunch of young guys that are filling out the depth of your roster. Outside of Darnell Mooney. Name me a receiver on our team that could play for a top 20 offense in the NFL.
None.
I mean, suit up. I mean, be available on Sunday.
None.
All the folks will get DMP'd weekly. They'd be practice squad guys, some of these guys.
Yeah, Dante Pettis would not be getting looks.
Not be getting looks. Marquette, whatever the guy, I didn't even know who the guy is. The guy could walk fucking to my house right now and try to sell me cable. I wouldn't know who the fuck he is. These guys, you need to replace guys. You need to replace guys and their backups on this roster. That's how deep the problem is. Because we had no draft picks, dude.
I understand we don't want to overpay a guy.
We can't.
But I can't get behind moving 25-year-old all-pros. And I understand it. And Jabari laid out a good point in the comments.
Great point.
He said, Roquan's been a headache since day one. He had the rookie holdout, which we talked about, crashed a Ferrari. I don't even remember that. And then he did.
No, I don't think he crashed a Ferrari. He got robbed at the chick's house because he left his shit unlocked, right? Remember his iPad got stolen because he was at a chick's crib and he left his car unlocked. He's just a wild boy.
Yeah, and then I do remember he had personal reasons where he had to miss a game.
Did he take that game off because he broke up with the chick? Do we ever know why?
I don't know why. I can't quote my guy Jabari on that, but I know he had a game for personal reasons where he wasn't available.
Yes.
And it was never talked about. And it was initially like some mental health stuff from what I remember. But yeah. So my gut tells me initially, I get both sides. I understand what people are saying, but I would have loved to keep Roquan on the roster.
Me too.
For a fair number. But it sounds like they're in there and he's like, yo, I need 20 million. And they're like,
yeah, so what do you do if he doesn't want a fair number? Exactly. You're acting like Roquan was in there like, hey, give me 12, I'll come back. No,
then if it comes back, if it comes out and that's essentially what the case was, then it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do.
Exactly. But so you have to assign a value to each position, right? And if you're like, hey, we can't overspend here, right? We can't rob Peter to pay Paul. You can't do it. You can't rob Peter to pay Paul. Peter's got to eat too, and there's a lot of fucking Peter on this roster. You understand? So like, that's my whole thing. It's just like I think we really have to look back on this roster and say, how many of these guys are you actually moving forward with, right? They did a great job in the last
draft. We need to move off Eddie Jackson, no?
Yeah, but no one's taking a safety at that number, especially one who didn't get picks for the last 3 years. So I think Eddie Jackson is there with you.
Regardless.
Eddie
Jackson is Russell Westbrook?
Yeah, you're Russell Westbrook with him, man. Mr. Unlimited. So okay. And you know what? Look, he was fucking trash. He had a pick, I get it, but he was trash on Sunday. He was getting fucking Tony Pollard had Eddie Jackson in a blender. But the whole defense was uninspired on Sunday. So I think that's what they're looking at. And again, you can't discount the fact that Eberflus is in charge of this defense and he 100% signed off on this deal.
So linebackers are the running backs of the defense. Is that where we're at? Just so we're clear.
Come on, man. You always take it to some far.
No, I'm asking you.
No, they're just not the $17 million a year fucking studs of the defense in this particular defense.
Okay. So we don't need linebackers. That's what.
We need linebackers, but we need a lot of other things. So
I get you. Listen, man. I get it. I get it, but I would have paid
What positions are you paying $20 million a year to? I just want to know.
Yeah, no. I mean, 20.
Tell me.
I agree with you. $20 million is too much.
18 to 20. Let's call it. What are your 18 to 20s? Or 18
an
plus?
Interior linebacker.
Quarterback,
But
you'll pay that, right? Let me ask this question. Are you going to pay a quarterback more than $18 million a year?
Say it again.
Are you going to pay a quarterback more than $18 million a year?
Yeah, hopefully I'm paying him 40.
Are you going to be paying an elite pass rusher more than $18 million a year?
Yes.
Are you paying a left tackle more than $18 million a year for a right-handed quarterback?
Hopefully.
Are you paying an inside linebacker more than $18 million a year? No, you're not.
Like I said, I don't like giving up all pro. Fuck that 2 and 5. The second pick's going to be 60, and then the fifth pick is whatever it is.
This is the NFL. This isn't the NBA where
I don't care about that.
That 10 spots down makes a massive difference.
It does.
Guys at 60 play. Guys at 60 play. Guys at 90 play. Guys at 120 play.
Are they all pros?
They can be.
Rarely.
They can
Rarely.
be. No, the first 4 rounds of the NFL draft, the first 2 rounds you're drafting high-level starters.
Man,
3 and 4 you're drafting
don't make me jump in the all-pro and see how many 4th rounders are in there, because it ain't many.
The Bears have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 picks in the first 4 rounds.
Now, I'll be happy if they package up those.
Play.
I'll be happy if they package up those picks and go get somebody and trade.
Maybe they can.
Maybe that's what they'll do.
Wide receivers were flying all over the place last year. Did anyone have Tyreek Hill getting traded at the beginning of the offseason last year?
True.
Did anybody have A.J. Brown going to the Eagles last year? Nobody had these deals.
Yeah, 100%. If we could pull off something like that, then it's a completely different story.
So you give yourself flexibility, though, right? So you want to put yourself flexibility. It's about. I think that's ultimately what it comes down to. We don't want to be tied down to not number one negotiating with Roquan, which is already a headache. My man's just writing letters out here criticizing, saying I love the Bears, but I'm ready to leave. That was weird, right? And also, we don't want to tie down $18 to $20 million on this guy, but we want to have as much flexibility as possible now that we've identified that our quarterback is that guy. Because I think they did. I think this week, just like you probably did, and just like I did, said, "Hey, man, yeah, I'm in with Fields." The last 3 games, I'm in with Fields. We're here.
We were always in.
We were
frustrated. We were really frustrated. We were in. We were really frustrated what we were watching.
And more as far as what we've seen. Like last Sunday was encouraging.
Yeah, no
against
question.
One of the best pass rush, like you said, against one of the best, if not the best pass rush in the NFL.
Yeah, we talked about it. If the Bears can score 30 points a week, we could lose every game. I could care less. That's it. If they're going to put up offense and Fields is going to run around the way he did, then yeah, I don't care about winning the games. So we'll see. Stay tuned. This is going to be the most interesting offseason the Bears have ever had.
Ryan Pace Presti is what I call him, man. My man just collecting these picks.
You want to talk about an interesting offseason. The Bears are locked and loaded to have an insanely interesting offseason. And we'll see what Ryan Pace does with it. All right.
I just hope that their scouting and their evaluations with active players and college scouting is on point, because all this comes down to, like you said, how they use these resources.
How they're going to package up the picks or who they're going to pick.
It's nice to have them all. Once you got to make the actual picks and once you got to actually sign the different guys, it gets a lot different. I hope they've been spending their time watching a lot of football at the college level and at the pro level and identifying potential targets that fit into what they want to do. But, I'm starting to trust these guys. So,
yeah, final answer for me is I wish they would have kept Roquan. But at $20 million a year, I understand why it couldn't happen. But let's also see what Roquan ends up getting in the market. Like, that's going to be interesting, too, when he comes off of this, 9-game stretch with Baltimore. So,
do you like the deal for Baltimore? They needed some help on defense.
They needed help on D, no question. He probably will be a really, really good fit. But if you give up a 2 and a 5, you have to sign him to a deal then, right?
Yeah. And
you're giving up a 2 and a 5 for 9 games.
And you still haven't signed your quarterback, right?
And you haven't signed your quarterback.
So now you have 2 guys. You have 2 massive money guys on the roster that you got to figure out for next year.
That's
the first thing I thought.
loan.
I was like, that's an expensive player to go get when you haven't signed your quarterback. You don't know what your finances look like next year.
Yeah, no question.
Unless they've already assumed they're just going to franchise them.
Yep, exactly right. So stay tuned on that. Really quick before we go to the NBA, anything else on the NFL? Like, we don't have to go back to the Bears, but I also think we should move Montgomery. I thought we should have moved Quinn. We should have moved Quinn earlier in the offseason, but that's water under the bridge. But yeah, unload anybody with some value.
I love Khalil Herbert. I'll say that.
Yeah, Herbert is nice.
Can tote that thing.
Yeah, he's actually really solid.
He's actually very, very good. Yeah. So again, what'd you get him? What, 4th, 5th round, 6th round?
Yeah.
That's why you get those picks, baby. You don't gotta pay those guys anything, man. I'm all in. Yeah, I'll say this real quick on the Cincinnati Bengals. Just don't say I didn't tell you at the beginning of the year. Don't say I didn't tell you. This team is suspect. Saw it last night.
They got smoked last night.
And they don't protect that man. Without Jamar Chase, it opens up a lot of holes for them. But their offense is pretty much throw the ball deep. Big play. They just go around hunting for the big plays. Yeah, great game plan by Cleveland. And Myles Garrett's a man.
Yeah, him and Nick Chubb. Big boys.
Nick Chubb, yeah. Myles Garrett and Chubb, yeah. Myles Garrett, I tweeted this the other day. Myles Garrett's one of my favorite players in the NFL, hands down. I love what he does. I just love what he does. He's just a monster. Yeah, he's just a freak. That's what you give $20 million to.
Yeah, fact. That's a fact. Yeah,
give him $20 million and you'll get some W's out of that. So yeah, shout out them. But yeah, no, I was just Cincinnati to me is very suspect.
So does the Packers have to make a deal? No, here today.
No.
So
I think this is it. I think this is it. Yeah, I think this is it. I think Rodgers is gone after this year.
Forces his way out of town.
Yeah, I think that they're both going to mutually just say, yeah, this is over. They can't get enough players to help them right now. What could they do? What could they do? What kind of deal can they make that makes them good? It's like the Lakers. It's like, yo, you throw out all these deals, and it's like, oh, we could do Miles Turner and Buddy Hield. It's like, that doesn't make you any good. Who could the Packers go get? DJ Moore? DJ Moore doesn't turn into a contender.
Miles Turner and we'll get to the. I'll save that for the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, DJ Moore is on the market. He doesn't make you a contender. They need a lot. That team sucks.
Yeah.
They actually suck.
So then Aaron's like, over. I gotta go.
Oh yeah, I gotta go. I think they both.
Or they package him up and then reload. That's how they rebuild. They get to get a whole bunch of. They get 3 1s.
Yeah, Jordan Love era.
They get 3 1s for Aaron Rodgers.
I'm sure the Colts will pay it. Colts sign anybody.
3 1s. Okay. Anybody else? Anything? Oh, I wanted to bring this up when we were talking about the Bears. Going forward, whatever the Bears need to and Poles need to do exactly what the Philadelphia Eagles just did. They need to run the same offense. They need to Jalen Hurts and Justin Fields are the same guy. Simple as that. Go fill out the roster with studs on D, which they already have in Philly, and then go get guys like A.J. Brown, draft guys like Devontae Smith.
And build an offensive line.
Like Kelsey at the center position. And the Bears are the Philadelphia Eagles in 3 years. Two.
Here's the other thing. You can turn around an NFL roster in 18 months.
12
months if you want to. Yeah. It's quick.
And literally 2 years,
it's quick.
The Bears are the Philadelphia Eagles.
You know what I'll actually say? And here's another thing that gives me some hope on the Bears. This team is actually better than I thought it was going to be. Like, if we're being completely honest, I thought that this was like we'd be 1-6, 1-7, like some of these squads. The fact that this team has won 3 games with another 2 that we could have won, I'm encouraged. So I think that, you do have some pieces that maybe more pieces that you want to move forward with. But, you just start adding some guys. And, again, it's all about that quarterback checking the box. And for me, he's checked the boxes these last few weeks, man. I'm all in. Let's get it. I do think it's funny, though, when they talk about Poles and he's like, remember, he always talks about how they did it in Kansas City. It's like, shut the fuck up. You drafted Patrick Mahomes. I'm sick of these people who draft these generational talents.
The coattail shit. This is how we did it in Kansas City.
How you did it is you drafted a generational talent at quarterback. You know who used to be big? Like,
true.
Yeah. It's just like, no, it's like you drafted generational. Now, you developed him and you put some good pieces around him, but like that was the biggest piece. Cut the shit. So, I don't want to hear that, but I do trust him.
One of the best coaches of all time, along with a generational talent, usually
generational.
I'll mask up
an all-timer. You have an all-timer.
Yeah, for sure.
Might be the most talented quarterback to ever come into the NFL, from just a pure talent standpoint.
Yeah, no question. All right, let's move over to the NBA. I brought it up to Big Nick earlier. What are we gonna? There's some big powerhouses that are struggling. We're talking about the Heat. We're talking about Golden State. We're talking about the Nets. How are we feeling about Philly? Just got on track. The last 3 games, they just started winning. How are we feeling? Let's kick it off and talk about some of these big boys struggling. Coming into the year, you talked about the Golden State Warriors slowing up and potentially they have a down year. So far, they're 3-4, 0-3 on the road, can't do anything on the road. What are your thoughts on some of these big boys? We could start with Golden State.
It's an older roster.
Yeah.
Right. They're coming off of a deep playoff run. I told you that took a lot. Obviously, deep playoff run. They won the NBA championship. And I told you, man, last year their motivation was a little bit different, man. The motivation was a little bit different last year.
A little bit of
We want to remind you, we've been down a couple of years. Now we're back, everybody healthy. And that kind of momentum matters, man. I always thought it was going to be difficult for them to get up for this year. And then the Draymond situation happened. And we can't act like that doesn't have an impact, right? That happens 4 days before the season starts. And that shit just doesn't just go away. Clay is struggling mightily. I think Clay's shooting like 30% from the field. That's an issue. Draymond's up there in age. Steph is having a great year. Jordan Poole's doing his thing. But look, man, their bigs are average. And I just think, again, this team is tired, man. Like that was a deep run for an aging roster. It takes a lot out of you. It's hard to go back to back. And I think if any team was going to let you down, it was going to be the Golden State Warriors. Now, do I think they're still a playoff team? Absolutely, right? Like, I think that they'll right the ship in the sense of they'll end up fine. But what was the number, 52?
Yeah, the number was 50.
I told and we thought that was
52 and a half.
We thought that was low, but it also says, hey, Vegas knows, man. Like, the number was low for a reason. But they seem like a 50-win team. 48, 49, 50-win team. So, yeah, definitely some struggles there. And you got to ask yourself, can Clay get back on track? Because it's not like he was lights out last year either. And then defensively, he's non-existent at this point.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they're playing. It's very clear they're looking for a rotation and trying to figure out where they're at because they're playing a lot of dudes.
Yeah.
They're playing like 10 dudes.
Playing 10, yeah,
10 plus minutes. It's insane. Like after we got Steph Curry, Jordan Poole, Wiggins, Klay Thompson, Draymond, right? They're all playing 25 plus with Clay playing 25, which is at the bottom. But then we got Wiseman playing 15, Moses Moody playing 17. We got Looney playing 23, DiVincenzo's playing 14. Then we got Ty Jerome playing 13. JaMychal Green's playing 18. Kuminga's playing 10.
You're looking for all these guys.
You're looking for answers, right? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 deep on the Golden State Warriors who are getting double-digit minutes, which is not usually something you see from a solidified group like the Warriors.
And wasn't Wiseman's growth and progress a huge key to this year? Like, you needed Wiseman to come in and be a 25, 30-minute per night center, right? Like what you drafted him to be. And the fact that, yeah, you're still trying to fit him into this rotation because you don't know what you have with these guys. So they just got a lot of questions right now. They got a lot of questions. And listen, man, for me, they played not above their heads last year in the playoffs, but like they hit a level.
Stride, yeah.
They hit a stride that's like a championship stride, but man, it's hard to do that come October, November the next year. Again, that motivation's a little bit different, man. So I'm not surprised that they were going to struggle at all. Not at all.
Yeah, it's a really interesting situation over there in Golden State because if I would have coming into the year, if I'm like, yeah, Steph's not gonna take a step down at all, like, oh well, then they'll be a solid group. But
yeah,
a lot of those guys we named are getting too many minutes. Like for example, there's a lot of guys on Phoenix getting minutes, but they're solidified dudes. Like we know about Cam Johnson, Bridges, Aiden, Booker, but like Cam Payne is now a veteran. Shamet is a veteran. Damian Lee, shout out Damian Lee.
Damian Lee, great
playing really well.
king of great situations.
So yeah,
Mary's stepsister, and life's just been great.
But that's the bottom of it, right? He's at 17 and a half minutes. But like a lot of these guys, the big boys are getting 32 plus minutes, like him, Bridges. Booker's almost playing 30. Booker's playing 37 minutes a game. So
and I know we're going to talk about all these teams, and I think the saving grace for a lot of these teams, and this is just what happens at the beginning of the NBA season, is naturally the order will start to fix itself because you have some teams that aren't good that are playing outside of their head, right? Like Utah is 6-2. Been a great story. I've watched actually a fair amount of Utah Jazz basketball. They play really hard. They play really smart, but it's not
they've been cooking, bro.
They're not going to win fucking 75% of their games. You know, they have been cooking though. Hey, listen, Listen, man, and marketing, the no pressure situation for marketing's been great.
Yeah.
Clarkson is just gonna do Jordan Clark. It's like, oh, it's completely clear for me now. There's no one else here. It's my ball. And Sexton, like, yeah, it's a nice situation, but you can't sit here and tell me that Utah is gonna win 50 games this year, right? Oklahoma City, like, they're at 500. They're not gonna stay that hot. San Antonio, they just fucking cut a first round pick the other day. Like, they're not gonna stay as hot. So some of this shit's just gonna naturally shake up, and Golden State's gonna rise back up. But if I'm sitting in Portland, a great example, 5-1. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of teams that we thought were going to be at the bottom of the barrel are flipped, and they're at the top right now. So we got Portland, we have Utah, we have
and shout out Portland for fully leaning into just fuck it. And I know I've criticized them in the past, but they're just like, fuck it, this is what we do.
I don't know if that D is going to hold, but they added a few defensive guys that are helping. Sure. But yeah, no question that Dame and just they're always going to go back to their roots when it comes down to winning time as well. So it's a fun squad. But yeah, I mean, if you put the Jazz in the East, they're the highest. They scored. They're averaging. They're the number one offense in the East, basically. They'd be averaging like 118 a game.
Yeah, they're good.
Knicks, they super fun to watch. They get up and down.
To watch. Yep.
And the guys are bought in initially. So it's an interesting situation, no question. Let's talk about the Nets, man. 2-5.
Very high panic meter.
For you, it's very high.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
So a few things. Obviously, the Nets have had bad vibes for 3. This whole thing has just been like bad juju, bad energy around everything. They're constantly in some. If you go back just the beginning of this thing, from when they first signed Kyrie and KD, and Kyrie's giving interviews talking about we don't need a head coach. They got Atkinson fired. then they said we don't need a head coach. It's just been terrible forever, right? They had they made sure DeAndre Jordan got some big dumbass contract because they needed to have DeAndre Jordan, even though he was fucking cooked. Well done. So different things like that. Now you get into this, obviously the whole debacle of last year, whether it's the Harden situation, whether it's the Kyrie situation, whether it's the Simmons trade, it's just been bad vibes. Now you get to this year, they don't start off well. Ben Simmons looks absolutely brutal, and you have another Kyrie controversy, right? And this one has some legs to it. Now you got Kyrie posting anti-Semitic videos and then getting into it with Friedel in the press conference, which Friedel was very clownish for his line of questioning. I'm going to go ahead and say that. I don't know if you saw that press conference. Yeah. And you know how I feel about Nick Friedel. Nick Friedel is an inside reporter with no scoops. Just go back to the Derrick Rose time. He could never tell us anything about Derrick Rose. Yeah, I was in the Bulls building every single day, had no information about the Derrick Rose injury. It was incredible. And then somehow got the Golden State job and then the Nets job. So I don't know. But they got that. Now you got this Kyrie situation. I get it that they won last night, but the product on the floor doesn't look good either, right? You have this big 2 plus Ben Simmons, and then outside of that, you don't really have anything. And without KD going for 35, 40 every night, and Kyrie adding in another 30, they're not going to win. And even when they do that, they're not winning. So I think the panic meter is high. Kind of the same thing with the Warriors, where there's just a lot of teams in the East that are playing, a few teams in the East that are playing above their head. And naturally some things will shake out. I think they're going to end up making that. But I thought this Nets thing would look a little bit better. I thought you'd get a better Ben Simmons, or at least a motivated Ben Simmons. But look, this guy is passing up layups. I don't really know. I don't really know what to say at this point. He's scared to play basketball. And we thought some things would change, but guy's scared to play basketball. The trade is an absolute disaster for them. And
they miss Seth Curry a ton. Royce O'Neal's playing 37 minutes a night.
Ridiculous.
So if
Steve Nash isn't going to make it through the month, I can tell you that.
If Kevin Durant doesn't score 35, they literally have no chance of winning.
Zero chance.
Zero. Him and Kyrie need to score 30 a night for them to even be in the game.
Their defense is atrocious.
Which they are doing, by the way. Right now, Durant scoring 33 a night, Kyrie scoring 30, and they're 2-5. So
they're giving up 120 a night.
They can't stop anybody.
It's insane. Anybody.
It's insane.
120 a night. You know how hard that is?
Halliburton looked like Magic Johnson the other night.
Yeah.
It's just really bad, man. They don't. Yeah, it is bad across the board. The whole Nash thing.
And the locker room is bad. You added to that. It's not like this is a team full of leaders who are going to get themselves back on track. I mean, this is a team full of more individuals than we've ever seen. Between Simmons, Kyrie, and Durant, those guys aren't leaders.
Yeah.
And you just don't know with Kyrie. Who knows if this situation might be too much for him? He's just going to take a week off. Like it's not outside of the realm of possibility. So they just got a bunch of very questionable guys over there.
Can they get it turned around?
They have the talent.
They got the Bulls tonight.
Yeah.
At Barclays. I should walk down the street.
You should. You said you can get tickets for the low, right?
Yeah, they're not that expensive. That's for sure.
Go. Yeah, why wouldn't you go?
I should just go walk over there and go check it out. But yeah, I actually might do that.
Yeah,
I'm off today too.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, get it turned. Like, what's your definition of get it turned around? Because obviously this team had a lot of expectation. Do I think they're a contender? No. I think they're a contender by the end of the year? No. Kevin Durant tried to get the coach and the general manager fired 60 days ago.
He's trying to tell you. He's trying to tell y'all it's not good.
That's not good. Get me out of here.
You know what? And that's my fault too.
For keeping a guy.
Kevin Durant is trying to tell you this shit is bad.
It's bad.
I want to get out of here.
Yeah, I don't want to be here.
I ignored him essentially and was like, oh no, they'll be fine. Simmons will come in and play D and they'll be good. And Joe Harris is back. They miss Seth a lot. That'll be a big get back. He just got back recently.
But it's also like, does Seth Curry make you not 2-5? No.
Maybe. A couple of those games you could get in there. They don't have any offense. outside of Kyrie and KD. Listen, Nick, they don't have any offense, and then they're giving up 130.
The Seth Curry.
So they're trying to essentially Kyrie and KD are trying to outscore a whole other team by themselves.
Yeah.
They can't do it. So Seth will help. But yeah, man, it's all bad. They don't play any type of D. They just don't. It's just not a good situation over there.
Ben Simmons averaging 6 points a game in 32 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, no,
he's just and you know what, man? Like, Ben Simmons had his deficiencies before, but he was an effective basketball and a very effective
extremely
a good an all NBA player at his best, right? Even without the shooting stuff. But this is
don't shoot.
It
was almost like don't shoot. Just do your thing.
Do everything else you do, which is great.
Rebound, run the floor, push the break,
and still get 16 and be super athletic and understand you're 6'10". This is strange.
Well, it's not even strange anymore. We talked about it coming into the year. Listening to that JJ Redick pod
told you everything you need to know.
Really confirmed what time it is for me. Mentally, he's just fried. He's working his way back mentally. He's not there yet in any way, shape, or form. You could see it how he plays on a day-to-day.
How is a guy who
Kyrie and those guys are trying to stick up for him?
But like, how does a guy who doesn't shoot jump shots shoot 44% from the field? Do you understand how hard it is to have his style of game? Like, he's a career 56% shooter from the field.
Yeah, he should be shooting 45, 60%.
Yeah, because he doesn't shoot jumpers. Everything is by the rim. Everything's just finishes. So
but he's tentative at the rim. He doesn't want to go to the line.
Doesn't even want to go to the line.
He's still worried about that. That's still in the back of his mind. He doesn't want to go to the free throw line.
That's what it really is. He's scared to shoot free throws.
So he doesn't want to shoot free throws. So that means going to the basket means I'll probably have to shoot free throws. So I'm just going to go ahead and catch the ball in transition and then get the ball to two of the best scorers in the world.
That's actually true. So if you look at his numbers, his career 5 free throws per game. Right now is at 2.5.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go to the line. It's very clear. So me having the ball in my hands and I'm Ben Simmons and I'm trying to go to the cup means I might end up in the free throw line. And it doesn't help his mental psyche on trying to score when I can defer to two of the best players offensively in the world.
Right,
so it's like, why would I even think about going to the rack and put myself in jeopardy to go to the line and miss a couple free throws when I can just get the ball to Kevin Durant and have him pull up? Get the ball to Kyrie at the bucket.
Situation out there.
It's a really mental.
I had some confidence that he was gonna come back and be effective. Like, I really did.
Yeah, me too. And it's just not there. We're starting to run out of time for me. Anyway, like there's no like.
You had all last year, dude.
He'll be good next month. Like,
no,
I don't think he will. So
he doesn't seem the guy who's going to flip a switch and all of a sudden become aggressive Ben. Like, it's kind of like when we talk about Pat Williams. I mean, it's actually different because Ben Simmons has been in the league a lot longer. But, dude, some of these guys, look, man, we talk about all the time, man. Watch the film, watch the tape. Some of these guys don't have that in them.
Yeah,
it's just not there. You know what I mean? And it's not going to change. And, like, yeah, I think you're right with Simmons. I think we've kind of run out of time, man. Like, the guy is shooting 5 less shots than he normally averages per game. He's not going to the line. He's not converting at the basket. He's not playing the defense he used to play. He was a menace on defense in Philadelphia. This was a guy who was in the perennial defensive player of the year conversation. It's not even close to that anymore. And the one thing I thought is like, man, this is exactly the type of player you wanted to play with Kyrie and KD, because he doesn't need to take a lot of shots and he can do a ton of things for them. But yeah, it doesn't even look good. And he didn't play last night, right?
Who, Simmons?
Yeah, he didn't play last night.
Yeah.
So why are we missing games too? Like, the whole thing is fishy. So no, I told you all these teams were going to make the playoffs. This Nets thing has the potential to go extremely sideways.
Well, yeah, back to the original point was Kevin Durant tried to tell us that it was bad there, and it's probably not going to work out. But he then ended up being in a situation where he wasn't going to get moved, and he figured that out too. Yeah. So he's like, yeah, all right, I'll show up and, do my thing. And I love to hoop. And and I'm getting paid quite a bit of money. But first things first, I love to hoop first and foremost. So I'll go in and do it. But he tried to warn us. He's like, man, this shit's not good over here.
Well, his big mistake is he tried to get into a pissing match with a billionaire. As soon as they came out that he wanted to get the coach and the GM fired or out, you don't give ultimatums to these type of guys.
Sure.
I thought that was not played well, because then it's like, look, man, these are prideful individuals.
Not going.
He's like, if I do that, I just gave in to KD. Like, hold on, bro, my money is much longer than yours. My influence is much deeper. I'm Joe Tsai. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm one of the wealthiest people in the country. Like, don't play games. Your ass is gonna be in Brooklyn, and you're gonna fucking enjoy it.
Yeah.
Wear black. See you in October.
No. Facts.
Don't try to bully me.
Yeah, but KD tried to tell us, and that was something I kind of ignored essentially, and just was like, all right, well, Kyrie's going to be back on a contract year. He's going to do his thing. Simmons will bounce back mentally. His back is back, all right, allegedly, and he'll be good. And it just hasn't played out that way. So we'll see what they do.
How long do you give Nash? Does Nash make it through the month?
Probably, to be honest.
He's out here getting thrown out of games and shit.
He was pissed. Yeah,
ballistic. Yeah.
He's pissed.
And then Jock Vaughn comes up there, and it's like this guy. He had no idea. Jock was shocked he was in that situation.
Yeah, he's like, all right, I guess I'm coaching the team right now.
All right, cool.
Yeah, so yeah, it's bad. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm interested to see how it all plays out. Let's talk about frustrated Kawhi Leonard. Remains out with stiffness in his surgically repaired knee. Cannot travel because the doctor told him that would not be a positive thing for the knee. Ty Lue said he's frustrated, wants to be out on the floor, but can't be. How you feeling about this Leonard situation and the overall deal in LA with the Clippers?
So if he's actually this hurt where he can't play, then obviously I think it's probably over for the Kawhi situation. Like, if the knee is that bad, right? And I heard someone was talking about the other day, like, there were concerns initially, like going back to when he first started getting these injuries, that this was degenerative. And if it's like, he's played 42 minutes this year, two 20-minute stints this year. So it's not. I thought it was weird when they were talking about bringing him off the bench. Anytime. Listen, man, just like the Lonzo situation.
P, they want me to come off the bench.
Come off the bench, yo, P. Just like the Lonzo situation, anytime a guy has an entire offseason, and for Kawhi, you had the whole last year, then plus
Zach
the offseason,
Levine,
and still isn't ready when the season starts, it's major red flags for me, especially if you haven't been here. So I guess Zoe's a little bit different because we were hearing a while ago he wasn't going to be ready. But like the Levine shit, the Kawhi shit, any of these guys, when you get to the year, you think they're going to be healthy, and the season pops up, and all of a sudden these knees aren't working. It's major red flags for me. So the Kawhi injury is major red flags for one of two reasons. Either that knee is fucked, or he really doesn't give a fuck about playing and is on his own time 100%. And I just can't see a guy wanting to miss like 2 years of basketball, right? Like I don't question his mental like that. I think he's always taken his time, but it's never been like this. So all I can really say is that knee must be completely fucked.
Yeah,
which is a major problem if you're the LA Clippers, because I watched them last night against the Rockets, and if they weren't playing against the Houston Rockets, they would have lost by 20.
ACL reconstruction.
Yep. And he's old.
He's been out for
31
like 15 minutes. Yeah, he's starting to get up there in age. But yeah, it's not a good situation when it's red flags across the board. That he's going to play, he'll be fine, and then he comes out and he's on a minutes restriction. John Wall's also on a minutes restriction for the Clippers,
which is crazy. He hasn't played 3 years either.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So yeah, they were the favorites coming in this year to win the West.
Which I don't understand. I thought that too, and like I look back on them, I'm like, what was I thinking on the Clippers? It just sounded. I think I heard someone else say it. I'm like, that sounds good.
I mean, you'd expect. Well, this was the angle. They looked really good last year, led by Paul George, and then now they're going to get the head honcho back in Kawhi, and he'll be able to play. And they added John Wall. The bench is deep. They're extremely loaded on a roster standpoint. They're deep. They can play, 1 through 9. So yeah, they're going to win the West.
But you're deep with a bunch of guys who need stars,
and
right?
Reggie Jackson can score 60 at any moment.
Yeah, Reggie Jackson's having an awful year. He's having I watched him last night. Reggie Jackson is brutal this year.
Yeah.
So like, here's the thing with that depth, right? I think that depth matters when you have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, but without Kawhi Leonard and with just Paul George trying to carry you, that thing looks completely different, right? Now all of a sudden it's like, ooh, there's a lot of Morris minutes right here. Like, ooh, we're relying a lot on Reggie Jackson. Ooh, Sean's boy Norm Powell really needs to carry us tonight. Like, and when you start Zubac, we really need Zubac to be like an elite center. And when you start having those type conversations, shit gets spooky really, really fast. So again, I watched that Rockets versus Clippers game last night because honestly, there's just nothing else really on. And that Clippers thing, man, offensively, they're fucking trash. If it wasn't for Paul George going bananas last night, they don't win against a Rockets team who at one point the Rockets had 5 guys out on the floor that I have never heard of and had no idea that they were in the NBA.
Yeah, Paul George is averaging 22 a game. The next person on that list is John Wall, who's coming off the bench, and he's averaging 13.8 points. So the offense is an issue for the Clippers.
Reggie Jackson, I pulled up his numbers yesterday. It's actually crazy what he's putting up. Reggie Jackson right now is averaging 9 points a game on 34% shooting.
He's playing 28 minutes a game, too.
Playing 28 minutes a game. Last night he was 0 for 6 from three-point land. So, yeah, man, that situation is not going to get any better. And I'm foolish for even picking them at the beginning of the year. I don't know what I was on. I think I heard something that sounded good to me right before we got on the pod, and I was like, oh, I'm going to say that.
Yeah, no, it sounded good. And it's still early.
Panic meter high.
It's it's still early, but yeah, it's the Kawhi thing is a big deal. Before we get out of here, let's give Tyrese Maxey some love.
I had someone else I was gonna give love, but go ahead.
Okay, I'll go ahead and give Tyrese some love real quick, and then we can get to your pick. But this dude Tyrese Maxey is playing out of his fucking mind. It's almost like Philly realized, like, man, forget about a discussion about getting this guy the rock. We need for us to win. He's going to need to be an integral part of what we're doing on the offensive end, in transition, shooting the three. Going into the game yesterday, he was like 15 of his last 28 from three. He was like 54% from three. He's scoring 30 a game. He cooked last night again. Harden had 17 dimes. He was getting him the rock at will. No Embiid. Maxey looks sensational. We saw it towards the end of the year last year. He's like, this guy is another star on that team. He's the number 3 guy, potentially the number 2 guy.
I think he's the number 2 guy.
When we talk about offense, especially. So let James go ahead and dictate, keep moving the rock around. But Maxey's going to have to score 25 a night if Philly wants to get where they want to get, especially as Embiid gets back to where he's at, where he's 100%. Because he it's clear he's not 100% yet.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think this goes. We've said this before. Hey, look, man, draft Kentucky guys,
pros.
Whether it's Quickly, whether it's Maxey, whether it's Tyler Hero, these guys are pros. Calipari's doing something when he gets these guys over here. But no, the Maxey emergence, and it started last year, like you said. He was awesome last year. This year, he's hit a new stratosphere. 23 points a game. Was shooting 50% from 3-point land when they absolutely needed another guy because who's light-skinned buddy J. Cole is kind of suspect. Tobias Harris is very suspect. They needed another guy. He's kind of stepped into that role. And like you said, Philly is kind of starting to right the ship there. They're looking like the team we want them to be. Hopefully Embiid can come back and he does what he's supposed to do. But they needed another guy, and you found one organically through the draft in Tyrese Maxey. So yeah, I'm loving what I'm seeing from Maxey this year.
It's almost like what would they do without?
What would they do without this guy? Yeah,
it's a great draft pick because if they didn't have him on the roster, they'd be in dire straits on the offensive end, leaning, especially without Embiid. And yeah, Tobias is just trick or treat. That's just what it is. It's been like that for years now. So that's just what it is. Who are you going to give love?
Hey man, Donovan Mitchell. Mitchell right now is absolutely fucking hooping.
Dog, I told you, but really quick, I told you before the year, I said, who's your top 4 in the East? And I said Boston. Yeah, I said Cleveland. You said Cleveland? I said Cleveland, bro. That roster is so nice, and he fits perfectly.
It's exactly what they needed.
It's exactly what they needed.
And they're doing so right now. Mitchell averaging 32, 4, and 7. 38 the other night against the Knicks. Absolutely killed the Knicks. And Cleveland is 5-1 without Darius Garland. Darius Garland's played 14 minutes this year. Got hurt in the first game that they lost. Since then, they've won 5 straight. He's been carrying them. LeVert is like the biggest trick-or-treat guy you'll ever see. I think he had 41 on one game. And then the next game had 0 or like 6 in like 30 minutes. Like it's just the most careless LeVert thing ever. But the model of consistency for them has been Donovan Mitchell. I think when Garland comes back, this team is dangerous. Defensively, they've been getting it done. You've seen a leap from who's my man's like Mobley, Okoro. They just got a bunch of guys you really, really, really like. They play great defense.
I was in Chicago. I saw them. I saw the Bulls home opener. Cleveland was the matchup.
Yep. The
Bulls were not in the game even for 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, not at all.
They the game tipped and the Cavs are off and running from the tip.
Yep.
That roster is really good. Mobley is big, awesome. Young, long,
great
athletic
defender.
Dudes. And then they
Jared
got a
Allen.
Pure bucket in Donovan Mitchell. And then when Garland gets back, that's the guy that'll run the show. And then because right now Mitchell's playing almost 40 minutes a night. So that'll taper.
And you'll be able to stagger Garland and Mitchell, which will look really nice. For sure. You'll be able to stagger those minutes really nice. Mitchell's never played with a guard like this before. He's always played with Gobert as his number 2, right? So, yeah, he's never had a player like this next to him. Garland's going to come back. They're going to be able to stagger. I love Jared Allen, what he does. I really like Okoro. Okoro is one of those guys, like you watch a Cavs game, and he's just kind of always doing shit. You know what I mean? Flying all over the place. Can't shoot, but makes a lot of plays. Good defender. I really like that team, but I gotta give it to our guy, Donovan Mitchell. I've been hard on Mitchell in the past, and
also really going for 7 dimes.
Yeah.
So he's scoring a bunch in bundles, and then when Garland's out, he's also facilitating.
Yep.
Very impressed with that. Might have been what the doctor needed on both ends. Donovan Mitchell looking for a young team that plays D and then doesn't ask me to do anything but score.
Yep.
And I don't have to worry about Bogdanovich getting shots. I don't have to worry about Jordan Clarkson getting shots. I can take all the shots.
Yeah.
If you really want to know. So
I don't have to play into the system like I was playing.
Exactly.
In Utah.
I am the offensive system. Like that's it. That's all. And I'm gonna be able to get buckets in a major way every night. Cleveland's nice, man. I love their roster. I love that situation. They're good.
And Milwaukee quietly rolling at 6-0, which we knew.
Quiet.
No Middleton back yet. Middleton's still not here yet.
Giannis might be better. Nick, is there a superstar that you've seen that continues to get better and better and better year after year like Giannis has?
No.
It's insane.
Yeah, and he's still only 27, so we're still like we're entering
it's insane.
This like second prime that he's having right now, and yeah, the guy is incredible. Again, dude, if you go back to when they won the championship, and he closed out with the 50-piece, and really in that series, he realized something. He said, "When I step on the floor, I'm the best player. I am the best player. Fuck all that shooting threes. Fuck all the countdown to the free throws. If I put my head down and just dominate, nobody's touching me." and he's been playing like that ever since. They took Boston to 7 games without Chris Middleton. They are 6-0 right now without Chris Middleton.
Well, I mean, that doesn't surprise me. But.
Whatever. This team's only going to get better once they get their second/third best player back on the roster. They're 6-0. I told you at the beginning of the year, Milwaukee's the team to watch out for. Last year, they didn't get a chance to defend that crown, right? They watched other shit happen. They're back this year. Don't play with these boys, man. I'm all in on the Bucks. They're in a great spot. No one can stop Giannis.
And they play insane defense.
Yeah.
Best defensive team in the league, easily.
Giannis right now, 34, 13, and 5.
J. Rue, Drew Holiday at the top, and then you got Giannis behind him. Defense is solidified without Middleton.
Yeah, no, you're right. We've never seen a guy improve like this.
I've never seen a guy improve like this year after year. He takes another level every year. It's insane.
Yeah.
And he's literally been one of the best players in the league 5 years running, and he's shown up not fucking midseason. No. Day fucking 1, game 1. It's like this dude is better than I saw him last year. Yeah, and he was scoring 30 a night last year and rebounding and dishing and doing all the shit.
59% from the field and 34 points a game.
He's insane. So shout out Giannis. I honestly, to be completely honest, I think they should go get someone else.
What would you add to that roster?
Some scoring. Another scorer, like a pure bucket. Some shooting.
But doesn't that come back when Middleton comes back, though? Again, they're doing this without a multi. I know you don't like – let's take the name away from it. We're talking about a multi-time all-star here who is not playing for them right now, right? So, if they're 6-0 without Middleton, who is 18 to 20 points a game and good defense and stretches the floor and is the perfect player to play with Giannis, they are getting a guy back.
Middleton's still a two-way guy, right? I'm talking about a pure bucket.
You want a bucket? You want Karis LeVert?
I want that. Well, you asked me what I think they could add.
Sexton?
What I think they could add, because they play defense at a ridiculous clip, right? They're the best defensive team in the league. Now, if you can, Grayson probably goes to the bench once Middleton comes back, but still, you go get another. The guys that they're bringing off the bench. Come on, man. Okay, Portis is averaging 13 points a game. Brook Lopez is averaging 15 points a game. Drew Holiday is averaging 19, and then you got Giannis at 34. Right. When Middleton comes back, that's another dub a night.
Who's their leading bench scorer?
Go get another Portis.
Oh yeah, Bobby. That's right.
Go get another pure bucket. I wonder who could that be that they could go add just like a pure basket. They need an Anthony Simons. He'd be amazing on that team.
Yeah,
but a guy but that's what I'm saying. A guy like that, where it's just like a
Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson.
Jordan Clarkson.
Clarkson.
Go get Jordan Clarkson out of Utah.
In case of emergency, Jordan Clarkson. Yep. Throw him in there, and he carries you through down stretches where Giannis isn't playing.
Exactly right, man. Just go get a guy that is purely motivated on.
And let's not act like Clarkson hasn't been doing this in winning situations the last 4 years also, right? It's not like Clarkson's just some hired gun on shitty teams. Utah's been a good team the last 3 or 4 years, and that's been his role. So, some of these guys, they don't contribute to winning, but obviously Clarkson, yeah, that's actually not a bad move. I wonder what Utah would want for him.
That's what they need, another guy that's a pure bucket.
I actually like that Clarkson move for them.
Yeah, man. That's what they need. They need another guy that's just a pure scorer, and then they're really, really, really looking up. Because I think, to speak frankly, I think they're getting a little too comfortable with the whole Giannis thing. Giannis is just going to score 35, 15 boards, 5 assists. They need more scoring. The rest of that roster is very suspect.
But again, Middleton's coming back, and that's 20 points a night.
That's fine. Get Middleton back, but then go get double and triple down every fucking year. Giannis is doing this. That's what I'm saying. I think
you could upgrade that Lopez spot as well. I think he's getting a little bit long in the tooth.
You know how I feel about guys just the window. You get really comfy, similar to the Packers. Super comfy. Rodgers is going to be around the next 10 years. We'll just pick all defenders. We won't add any offensive guys.
Lopez is averaging 15 a game.
Yeah, that motherfucker shoot that thing, dog.
Shooting that
You know,
thing.
he shoot that thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what a great career reinvention also by Brook Lopez, man. Guy completely changed his game, and it's earned him another 10 years in the league. Easy.
Go get like a Bogdanovich from Detroit or something.
They just extended him.
I know.
Detroit locked him in.
But you know what I'm saying? Like,
I know what you're saying. One of those
type of guys where it's like just
call up Atlanta. Atlanta's got some guys. Atlanta's got too many guys. Yeah. But here's the thing, though. Let me ask you this: even as
a Gary Trent Jr. or something like that,
as presently constructed, do you see any team beating them 7 games in the East with a healthy Middleton? Like, let's go down the list. Can they beat Cleveland? Will Cleveland beat them over 7 games? No,
probably not, because they're like not there yet. You know, they're like Boston. They're just getting to the party.
Boston would be fun, but Boston struggled with them without Middleton. Toronto, no. Atlanta, no. Philly, no. Bulls, no. Nets, no.
Yeah,
Heat, no. So they're the best team in the Eastern Conference.
That's what I'm saying. Double down.
Not the best team in the league.
Go get some more buckets. Go get some more buckets, and then it's really a combo. So yeah, I feel you. I agree with you. So it's interesting.
Because last time we saw them all healthy, they won an NBA championship. So
that is true. Last time we saw them healthy, they won the title. So stay tuned on that. Shout out Tyrese Maxey. Shout out Donovan Mitchell. They're doing their thing. Shout out Giannis Antetokounmpo. The man continues to get better and better.
I got the Bulls tonight, Jabari. By the way.
Yeah,
for sure.
What's the number? I haven't even looked. Look up the number real quick. I might go to that game. I might just go by myself.
If you can
I might get me a single. I might go get me a single and walk. I might go get me a single and walk down the street. Yeah, but you know me, man. I don't want to sit in the fucking upper deck. I'd rather sit at the crib and watch on TV.
What's the single? Is that a hamburger or something? Or
no. A single ticket. Just go by myself.
I thought that's like a New York. Grab me a dog. Grab me a single. The Bulls are getting 1.5.
Bulls plus 1.5. Interesting. Take the over. We should take all the overs on Bulls props. DeMar, Levine, Ayo.
Let's don't take a Pat Williams over.
Vooch over.
Shut up, Vooch.
Take all that. Take Javonte Green, triple double.
That's your boy. Five Javontes out there.
Javonte, give me 5 Javontes, man. I'm with it. But yeah, I might actually look into that, see how much the ticket is, and I can break that down, have some fun with that. But we'll see. Stay tuned. All right, man. We're out of here. For Big Nick the Quick, I'm your host, Sean Little. Make sure you subscribe. Tell the homies, man. Leave a review. That shit always helps us. You already know what time it is. We'll see y'all next week. No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. Let's get it.